What's up, everybody? I'm Dusty Novels from Diverse Gaming, and welcome to another Diverse Reaction. And today we look at Star Wars Battlefront 2, the World Reveal trailer, and I am so stoked to look at this. I am a huge fan of Battlefront. The original series, though, EA didn't really sit well with me when they came out with Battlefront a couple years back. It just didn't do it justice, so I'm looking forward to this trailer, hoping it does it right. But if you're unfamiliar with my structure, because it's not just a reaction, it's a reaction and discussions/questions. Basically, after this reaction, I'm going to set a number of questions that I hope you will answer in the comment section below. And if you have any questions that you want to ask either of me or this game, make sure to ask in the comment section, and we could actually use it when the game comes out for its review. But without further ado, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Let's check it out.
I've waited 30 years.
Okay, so the Empire.
I still remember my last orders.
Some narration.
The day the real
Definitely going to be a story.
The rebellion cannot be allowed to persist.
We weren't expecting special forces.
That's the point, Sergeant.
Impossible.
Commander, what do we do now?
Our protagonist.
We avenge our Emperor.
Okay, so looks like we're playing as the Empire.
Rebellion. You will burn these ideas away.
Hope cannot save them.
This music. Darth Maul. Rey? I didn't expect to see that. So Kylo definitely gonna be here. Yep. Okay. I collect my thoughts. Fantastic trailer. Absolutely loved it. With that being said, we've had amazing trailers in the past, and clearly we get aboard that hype train. It doesn't live up to it, and we just feel completely let down. So I'm going to control myself with this and other Battlefront 2 trailers that will inevitably come out. So let's get on to the questions that I have because of this trailer. The first is about the story. Now, if you played EA's Battlefront 1, it's clear to say there was no story. Well, I mean, there actually wasn't. There was no mode for it. It was straight up multiplayer, very bare bones at that, and it just really wasn't a great experience all in all, especially if you were like me and you loved the old Battlefront so much, particularly Battlefront 2. But here it looks like we really do have a campaign. I mean, clearly, the way this trailer was set up, narrated strongly by our new protagonist. I'm not sure what her name is, and I imagine that's who we're going to play as. But clearly there is a story here. I'm just curious how good it will turn out. But I did get a bit of news through an article that I read, and the person behind Battlefront 2's story is the man behind the Spec Ops, The Line story. And if you're unfamiliar with that, even though the gameplay, it borrowed very heavily from other third-person shooters at the time, most notably probably Gears of War, the story was mind-bending and critically acclaimed. So I am super stoked. And given the way that Spec Ops The Line story was, I can only expect greatness, especially playing the Empire, for this story if it is indeed created by the same individual. So I have high hopes there, and I believe the story will be good. So this question already may be answered, but until the game comes out, I am not going to say pretty much anymore. The next thing we're going to focus on is the multiplayer. Clearly the biggest part to Battlefront, and it's about its improvements. There are a lot of things they have to get right this time. Balancing being one of the things up top, because if you played the first Battlefront, at least from EA standards, the blaster that you could unlock if you bought a certain edition of the game or just bought it outright was completely overpowered and absolutely destroyed multiplayer after a while. Also, the progression was light, bare bones. It really just didn't keep you playing. That, along with the customization that was, well, barely a customization at all, and to be honest, I'd rather they didn't even bother if it was going to be so bare bones, wasn't really there. So I'm hoping that what they'll have here is a balance, please. Progression, so the game will have longevity, and some kind of character creator, if you're going to include that. Again, you don't have to, but if you're going to include that, and please return to classes like the original Battlefronts. It really actually created balance in itself, and it was exciting to play as those certain classes. Also, something that I think we're going to see from this trailer is the space battles. Now, if you've played Battlefront 2, obviously not this one, but the original, space battles were amazing. They were multi-layered. You could, instead of just focusing on the fighters in the air or space, you could just land into another ship and destroy it from the inside and rush out before it went down to get back in your fighter or a TIE fighter. Just go out there. It was amazing. It was multi-layered and it really felt atmospheric. So I'm hoping if they do space battles, they do it right. And I'm pretty confident that we will get that. I'm pretty sure that is absolutely 100% confirmed, but please let me know in the comments if it is or isn't. And the last two questions we're going to focus on kind of go hand in hand. It's about the heroes. Now, from this trailer, you saw quite a bit. As you see, I was uber excited for Darth Maul and effectively Yoda as well, because obviously I saw his green hands fighting Darth Maul. So I'm excited for many heroes, and it looks like we're going to have plenty of them, and that it spans across all eras. Well, it kind of has to if you're going to have Darth Maul and then Kylo Ren at the very end of that. But my big question is how they're going to make the heroes feel. And also, again, balancing. Because if you played the first, you know that Boba Fett was crazy unbalanced, and you didn't really have a timer. It was only until they died, so if you were a smart player, you just perched up somewhere very high up and dominated the entire battlefield, and that was ridiculous. It was unfair. People would go like 71-3 or 2 that way, and it just created for a horrible match. So I'm hoping they work on balance. And if they're going to bring in this many heroes and focus on the heroes, they need to work on the essentials, the fundamentals, the heroes' movements. If you've played the first, you know that the heroes were incredibly stiff, and lightsaber fighting, if you had Luke and someone else had Darth Vader, it just didn't really feel all that well done. And there were games like Jedi Academy that did lightsaber battles better. And that was over a decade ago, almost 2 decades ago, honestly. So if you're going to focus on so many heroes, they have to make sure the basics, the movement is there, and you don't feel so stiff, and you actually feel like a Jedi or a Sith, or whatever other heroes they plan to put into the game. So the last 2 questions was hero movement and balance. They have to focus on that. I have to feel good playing as this hero, and I have to know that I can, if I'm stupid, be taken out the game rather early. I definitely don't want to feel like, well, if I just perch up there, I'm going to be completely invulnerable and take down every single person that comes before me. I don't want that feeling. It feels awesome when you're doing it, but it's incredibly unfair, it's unbalanced, and for everyone else in the game, well, they don't feel the same way. So the 5 questions that we have is, how is the story? Because it certainly does have one. It's focusing on the multiplayer improvements, the space battles, the hero movement, and the character balance, or hero balance. So those are the 5 questions that I am putting to you to answer in the comments section, and the questions that we will effectively answer when the game comes out. But if I didn't think of anything, please let me know in the comments section below. We'll see if a few other trailers confirm these kind of questions, or if we can get up some more questions that eventually go into the game's eventual review. But that's really it for this reaction. I'm Dusty Novels from Diverse Gaming, and I'll see you next time.